Okay, so good evening everybody. Let's have a look now at Opendoor stock. If you come over here to the charts and have a look, Opendoor is absolutely, in my opinion, primed for a very impressive week ahead. We'll be speaking about this over the course of tonight's video. As always, if you do enjoy these updates, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. It does help me out a lot. At the same time, I'd like to remember, this is not financial advice and I am not a financial advisor. Finally, if you'd like to join the channel with a bit more detail, and I have a Patreon page, you can come over and join with the first link in the description, where you'll find exclusive stock picks that I'm personally paying attention to on an almost daily basis. So now jumping straight in with this stock, as you all know, this is down by around 4% on Friday, but over the past 5 days we're down by 1.9. The past month here is very green, up by 165%, begging the question of where we go from here. Now, of course, going over straight to the chart, I think you can see here why I think things are forming very nicely. This stock's been moving up in a very nice way for a long time. In the past week, we actually did touch and obviously go well above the $10 range. We're now asking the question of where we go, and I think this is all going to have a lot to do with where we find our next range of support. Now, zooming into the 5-day chart over here, you can see on Friday, we're seeing levels such as, roughly, I'm going to call it 935, holding up very strong, which is always a good thing. We're not moving down much lower than that. However, going forwards into the next couple of days, perhaps tomorrow, I wouldn't be necessarily surprised if this one was to drop down to the 880s, and I wouldn't see that as a bad thing at all. I think what's happening here, especially when you zoom out, like I say, you are now building that very nice level of support, and again, a remainder in this range is going to be very good. Even down to the 880s, right? That would seem like a little bit of a drop compared to where we are, but you're looking at a stock that's up by, again, well in excess of 100% in the last couple of days, really. Given that context, I think that would actually be a relatively nice level to find a support. And I only say this because if this one was to drop down to these levels, I feel like a lot of people would panic, when in reality, in my opinion at least, that would just be normal, right? It'd just be part of the expected cycle, part of the expected pattern. Now, that would of course give indicators even more time to cool off, come out to 6 months, and we can see things indeed are doing that. We were slightly overbought on the RSI back on the 16th, but we're now cooling way off. Still very much in the high end of the spectrum, but coming down quite a bit as the stock does take that time to obviously find its new levels of support. Now, if you ask me, again, even if this does include a small drop to the 880s, which is possible, this is all forming us very nicely for our next potential push up. I think as long as we stay above this 890, 880 at least mark, we're in a very comfortable territory for higher pushes. From there, you could be looking to touch upon, in my opinion, maybe $10, $10.15. From there, you're looking, of course, to push up to the 1060s, maybe 1080s, where we're going to be pushing potentially higher. But I think my main objective for this week, believe it or not, and it may not be the most glamorous, again, I may be wrong, you may agree with me, you may disagree with me, that's of course fine, but the thing that I'd like to see the most is just some healthy consolidation. Finding a nice level of support would be absolutely perfect. And I do think that the stock is in a nice level to do that. I think we're really coming up to a very comfortable point here for this company, for this stock. I think the fundamentals, in my opinion, are relatively strong. We've obviously had some major good news. And again, viewing this in context, I think this is where things get really important. The major rise up that we've seen with this stock price, on about the 11th, the fact we've been able to hold on to this for the remainder of last week and obviously coming forwards hopefully into this week, in and of itself is a very strong and significant marker of a lot of strength here. So again, a touch on this level, 887, 890, would not be the worst thing. If that doesn't happen, if we push straight up, then where are we looking to push to? Well, of course, you're looking for very much uncharted territories, right? But the momentum that I'd like to see is going to be a little bit more stable. Again, I'm long-term bullish here, but I think viewing this in the context of a long-term bullish investor, you could say, right? What do you want to see? Well, you want to see a stock price momentum which is sustainable. And I think every single time that we have these brief, you could call it sell-offs, you could call it consolidation periods, we are just building that extra validity that yes, the stock now does sit comfortably potentially in the $8 range, the high 8s, maybe the low 9s. It just forms that nice basis for that next potential push. And I think really this is forming in such a brilliant way for going forwards into the next week or so. I think everything here is lining up exactly how you would like it to line up. I think to the upside, again, once you break out of these levels, you're very much into uncharted territories with much potential to go even higher than where we are right now. I think the moves that we're seeing with Opendoor stock have been extremely impressive. And again, you come over here and look, if I've just closed it actually, just 1 second. Yeah, I somehow closed the chart, but anyway, yeah, you come over here and you look at the chart, even in a more simple context, over the past month or so, what do you notice, especially over the past 6? We are now establishing a very, very strong level, and again, considering this stock is up nearly 700% since really mid to late July, this is perfect. This is absolutely perfect. So in context, yes, a flat week this week or a small rise this week may not be very impressive, but I think it actually is. Again, you zoom out and you see how much this stock is up. To maintain this price point, to hold this price point, to sit comfortable in this price point could only be a good thing. I think the likelihood of that happening is moderate, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing what happens. But I think really, just to give a little summary, if this one does hold what I'm going to call the high 8s, the 880s, the 890s, then we're at a nice floor for that potential push up. Again, if you can see this one holding the $9 range, even better. But I think my main point here is consolidation, right? Giving indicators a little bit of time to cool off, giving perhaps people who want to sell time to take profits, and then of course potentially pushing for that next leg up to the middle to late part of the week, and hopefully going forwards into the week after as well. So all of that is to play for. I think it's looking to be a very, very promising week. I'm very excited to see how things actually do play out. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say on this one in the comment section. I think things really are looking very good, but let me know your thoughts down below. And what's your price prediction for the end of the week? I'd love it if you tell me down below, like I say. Thank you so much for watching these videos. I do appreciate it. And again, if you want to learn more, if you want to watch about the stocks that I'm paying attention to, there is a link to the Patreon, which is of course first in the description down below. But yeah, very, very good stuff for Opendoor stock. I think things are coming along absolutely nicely. I think if we have a week exactly like what I just demonstrated or just outlined, I'm very happy. Again, a little push above, let's say 10, 1050, 1070 would be even better, especially if we do it in a healthy and slow way. But again, only time will tell. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it though. Thank you guys, and I hope I'll see you again soon. If you guys are ready to get serious about trading for less than the price of a coffee every day, I've got to tell you about the new Patreon page that I have just launched. That's right guys, I have a new Patreon. I'm going to be sharing everything on here, from my personal stocks that I am watching to pre-market updates, as well as a Discord group which I have started. It's going to allow you to access similar-minded, like-minded people who are also interested in sharing their knowledge about the markets. I'm going to be sharing a lot of stuff over here guys. There's going to be a lot of exclusive content coming in the next couple of weeks, but do bear in mind, for most of the tiers, spots are limited. The Market Scout, where you'll gain access to the Discord, prices will change after 150 members. At the moment guys, I'm limited for time, so the Trader's Edge course and above, we're limiting the courses even lower, right? There's a limited amount of people who can join. At the same time, depending on the level of mentorship that you want, we have prices going all the way up from 1450 to the highest tiers over here that you can see. Again, if you're looking to take your journey to that next level, on these middle tiers, this is personally the one that I would recommend, even though it's not the most expensive. It costs less than a coffee every single day, and the amount of information that you'll get here, in my personal opinion, is absolutely worth the value. At the very least, guys, you can become a member for free. The link is down in the description, the comment section, and the bio. Just give it a look and see what you think. And of course, feel free to sign up if you're looking to take your journey even further. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the video.